we have the day shift. Well, we
Yes.
haven't come up with one yet, or we hadn't up until today for Christi Tasker. And I know that I mean, we know she's going to get elected, but no matter what happens, she's going to continue to be on Tuesday. So we're going to have a new name for her segment. Ready for this? Up to the Task with Christi Tasker. And here she is, right here.
That's great.
I love it, David. I love it. You and Penny are so creative and just so off the cuff. It just makes me smile.
Good. Well, listen, we're so glad that you're able to join us as we get even
Yes.
closer to your election. And I say that with all sincerity. I mean, I think you got this. So, but for those,
we've got it, David. We've absolutely got it. We're definitely going to run off. Like, you wouldn't even believe it. So there has been an entire group of people out here that have been battling the government gangsters. They are so happy to see a gringa in the race that's willing to just dismantle the whole system. And I'm talking about, these are business owners. These are people who are sick and tired of the Miami regime and the Miami mafia. So they don't even know what's coming for them. We have thousands of votes already in. Republicans have gone out in mass numbers. Nonpartisan voters have gone out in mass numbers. And the demon rats are going to be just squirming everywhere because they've been in control in Miami for quite a long time. And people have not realized it because they haven't realized that Alex Portilla, even though he's been a registered Republican who claims to be a Republican, has actually actively been working with the Democrat Party for a very long time as a campaign consultant. So
Right.
that, I know it's very hard news for people to see, but this goes all the way back to Qatar. This goes all the way back to, believe it or not, Hamas, because Qatar is involved in Hamas.
Yes, it's involved in brokering the transfer of the hostages at present. And then also funding went there and was held for the Iran hostages, which were released.
Yeah, it's crazy. I mean, that people, it's hard to believe it. I get that. It's hard to believe that all of these politicians have been working together for such a long time. And I mean, people are getting it, as a whole. So she is being called out as a whole, like Daniela Cava-Levine. And what we have to remember is, and people say, Christi, why does this matter? Well, it matters because if you go on my Town Hall Tuesday from this week, you can see all the financial connections to Sabina Kovo, the woman, excuse me, Mom, can you give me a water? The woman, excuse me, I'm going to restart this. So yeah, look what happens when I'm about to have an air full of of download for people.
right.
So this matters because all of the financial connections already for Sabina Kovo, the woman who cannot say the Pledge of Allegiance, that's on the District 2 Commission, thank God, only for 9 months, has direct ties to Alex Diaz de la Portilla. Same financial connections. You don't get those connections without being a part of the situation. So for anybody who doesn't want to see that, we have to wake up. We have to realize that maybe we've been hoodwinked. Not maybe, we have. And all of us have been hoodwinked. So this is not just a Republican or Democrat thing. We all must absolutely wake up. We must realize that they are playing both sides. Hold on. Both sides of the fence against us. I'm actually getting ready to bring in something, David, so that people can realize that, this is not just an issue where Christi Tasker is like making this up. Listen, even Billy Corbin sees this. What do Hamas and Miami-Dade Mayor Daniela Cava-Levine have in common? They both take money from Qatar. So listen, it is not okay. It is not okay with me as a leader of a local government. We have no business taking our political agendas to foreign governments, period.
Right.
Okay? Period. We are elected for the local people here in Miami. We have a national government that deals with national politics and geopolitical politics. Okay. Period. That's it. That we have other elected officials for that. So we should really stay out of it. Listen, if Daniela Cava-Levine wanted to go on her own accord to visit Qatar, that is her business. But the reality is she utilized our tax dollars in collusion with Alex Diaz de la Portilla. And I'm going back to this because Alex Diaz de la Portilla is the campaign advisor for the campaign manager called Christian Olvert. Okay. Not only did she take millions of dollars, thousands of dollars of our money. Here we go. I mean, this is a far left news site sharing with you. Listen, I'm just the messenger. Don't shoot me. I didn't go to Qatar. Okay. I didn't go to Qatar. I don't play around with Qatar. I don't play around with Hamas. I don't play around with nasty people who do nasty things to our local people on your dime. Okay. So this man here, this is her campaign manager. Everybody look out for him. Okay. So this is Daniela Cava-Levine. This is the campaign manager for the incumbent that I am running against, Sabina Kovo. Okay. We have no border control here in Miami. We have one police officer that's on our border at a time. That is not enough, period. Okay. We have to rely on U.S. Coast Guard, whose phone is constantly calling me for some odd reason. Even the Coast Guard cannot, figure it out. But the reality is this is a constant ongoing thing. Not only should she go to Qatar, but listen, she went with Alex Diaz de la Portilla. Here he is right here, everybody. Wake up.
Look at that.
Yeah, here he is. This is the man right here. Okay. Then you've got, are you ready for this, David? We've got literally 2 voting members of the 5 on our commission, but most of the time only 3 vote. This is Chairwoman Christine King, controlled by Keenan Hardeman. Okay. Everybody wake up, wake up, wake up, wake up. This is the Awake Nation. It's time to wake up. It's time to realize that these people that have been playing both sides of the fence are coming after you, your land. They're holding guns to people's heads, taking their property of Indian people. They're working directly with big developers to keep this from happening, all while, are you ready? Let's just play this. Listen, this is going to be a hilarious little clip. Are you guys ready? There's so many people globally that want me to win because they really see what's happening. They're like, listen, even in China, my Chinese manufacturers are like, Christi, tell your people to wake up. Do not let the Chinese government buy any more land in America, please. Like, especially in Miami. Okay. So this is actually, I did an interview with Mind Shift podcast. Okay. And so they were so funny. These are Canadian guys. They work a lot here in Florida. But they made this video clip for me. Hold on. Let me see if I can play it. For some reason, it's like not wanting to play. Oh, I hope the sound is there. I'm not sure why it's not there.
We're not even seeing that the screen doesn't show a video at all. It's showing.
Okay, hold on. Wait, maybe that's the reason, David.
Where we lost millions of dollars.
Okay, hold on. Let me replay this, okay? Because this is hilarious.
Many people in Miami refer to Francis Suarez, the mayor of the city of Miami, as our Ponzi Postalita. They had gotten together with Sam Bankman-Fried and created this FTX deal where they put FTX on our arena where we lost millions of dollars. They also invested in FTX. They invested in Miami coin. So Francis did this whole scheme where he wanted to give people money on Miami coin. If you would just download the app onto your device, he's going to give you $50. And this kind of goes a merge between the city and the county, because sometimes it's the city giving a little bit of money, the county giving a little bit of money, but they always blame each other. Yeah. Nobody really knows where the money is. Nobody really knows exactly how many millions we've lost. Nobody really knows what they're doing with the FTX scandal. We all deserve to know the truth. We must know the truth if we're ever going to get to the other side. Many people in Miami refer to Francis Suarez, the mayor of the city of Miami, as.
So there we go.
Way, Sam Bankman-Fried was convicted on all charges, by the way.
Yeah. I'm pretty sure Francis Suarez is coming next.
Yeah.
Francis Suarez is coming next, everybody. I'm calling it as it is because, listen, David, bring up my screen one more time because I wanted to show people the proof. I'm about showing people proof because, listen, I've got candidates in the race with me. They laugh at this stuff. If you think this is funny, you might think this is funny for our city government to have SEC violations. You might see that you're a financial expert, but you are no financial expert, Damian Pardo. You are a liar. The SEC alleges in a complaint the beginning of 2008 that the city of Michael Boudreaux made materially false and misleading statements and omissions concerning interfund transactions in 2009 bond offerings totaling $153.5 million, as well as the city's fiscal year 2007 and 2008 and the comprehensive audit. So that is the reason Damian Pardo, by the way, deceptive Damian Pardo here, this guy, this liar, okay? This liar, guess what he's concerned about? He's concerned about your bond money. He's concerned about forever bonds because guess what? He needs to get in there and clean up. They need to clean house before the SEC comes in. I'm just telling you guys, be very careful. Be very careful with your votes because no matter what, listen, I'm going to be in as your city commission, whether it's through another election and another election and another election. Eventually, you will believe me because guess what? All these people, they are fooling you. Damian Pardo put in over $160,000 of his own money to run against me and Sabina Kovo, and I have more name recognition than he does. That's because you know what? People have known me for a long time, David and Penny. I didn't just like arise on the scene yesterday. And say that I want to be your city commissioner. I didn't just arise to say, oh, I need you to hand me a written statement like a puppet, and then I'm going to run on anti-corruption. Are you kidding me? He and James Torres basically pulled the message that I utilized in January when I came out and told the people, we are surrounded by government gangsters. But guess what, guys? We have the t-shirts to prove it, okay? Here we go. Like, let's see, where were you when these were created? Okay. Where were you when Christi Tasker was creating t-shirts and saying, ladies and gentlemen, we are surrounded by the government gangsters. There you go. That's Christi Tasker. Where have they reported their information? Okay. Where did they report the corruption? Why do we have arrests right now? That's because Christi Tasker goes on podcasts like this with the FBI actually listening and all the investigators listening to my research and finding out because I am not shutting up. Period. Not going to shut up about this. This is an ongoing thing. And we have manager Arthur, how are they getting by with this? People ask me, but Christi, how are they getting by with this? Well, number one, you've let them because you've sat silent while author Noriega, get it? He's an author of what? What is he authored? Well, I'll tell you what he's authored. This guy used to be the city of Miami parking authority. Okay. Over the parking authority. He's never run a city in his life. Never. Okay. Wow. Never run a city in his life, but he has one of the largest cities under his hat. City of Miami mayor.
You know what, Chrissy, he looks a little bit like Manuel Noriega.
Yes, he does.
Yeah.
Family member, maybe?
Yeah. Who knows? Listen, Penny, the reason I go on and say things and bring out what I've got is because somebody else will come along behind me and connect dots. Police connect dots, fires connect dots. Everybody's out here connecting dots. So if you've got dots that you would like me to connect, please feel free to.
Oh yeah, he looks a lot like Manuel Noriega, who is a Panamanian head of state and dictator, politician, military officer, and sex trafficker, drug dealer.
Well, I mean, listen, nothing is put past me.
If the shoe fits, wear it.
Well, I mean, I'll look into it, David. I don't want to accuse anybody of anything like that. But you know what? Every time something like that comes up, sadly, what I research and find out that is more often true than not. Right. I mean, so even when I myself want to withhold and think that surely they can't be doing this. Surely they're not out in the open doing this, but they are. They're blatantly out in the open doing it. Okay. Mm-hmm. So he was appointed by the administrative head of Miami-Dade County's most populous city in February 2020, right at the beginning of the pandemic, everybody. Okay. right at the beginning of the pandemic, right about the same time that Francis Suarez conveniently came out. And just wait, I'm going to play that clip too for you guys today. Mr. Noriega oversees 4,381 employees with an operating budget of 1.165 billion with a B. An executive with a strong background in construction and operations and urban development projects. Okay. But no city management experience. We don't need anybody with city management experience. Are you kidding me? This is the puppet for Francis Suarez, along with the city attorney, who is an absolute puppet as well. She's under investigation already. Arthur Noriega should be under investigation too. FBI, U.S. Marshals, everybody. Listen, whoever's investigating this, all the investigators that I've been speaking to, please make sure that you look for his money. Because not only that, but our city officials, one of the things that investigators did not realize, at our city officials, they get into office and guess what? We pay them retirement forever. Forever. Okay. You cannot even make
package after they leave. Wait a minute. How many terms do they have to serve in order to get?
Like none, David. One term. That's
one
it.
term, and they get,
That's the reason they fight so hard. Okay. They fight so hard with everything. So let's just go to even see what, even Billy Corbin says about Sabina Kova. Okay. Listen, Billy Corbin is now being paid by Damian Pardo's because Damian Pardo is actually being paid by Bill Fuller, who Joe Carollo owes the $63.5 million for operating outside of the scope of his commission seat. Okay. You cannot even make this stuff up. So let's just look and see what he says today. Sabina votes with corrupt commissioners Joe Carollo and Alex Diaz de la Portilla 90% of the time. She helps the city spend millions of tax dollars to defend their corruption and they're financing their campaign. Absolutely. 100%. Sabina Kovo, her list is a mile long that I've caught her in campaign violations already. But guess what? Yours truly is actually filing those with the Florida Department of Ethics. So what is everybody else doing? They're going to sit silent and go right along with her because guess what? They're doing the same thing, Damian Pardo. You're a liar. You're working with Billy Corbin, and guess what? We're going to find your money. We're going to find your drops, and the FBI should be paying attention to this. Okay. So hold on. Let's just look really quick. Let's see what else we have going here. I want to make sure that you guys see where during this scamdemic, Francis Suarez is the chief scamdemicer. Okay. He is the one who has spent a lot of time and a lot of money completely scamming the public. Oh, by the way, I should report on me. People say, "Oh, well, Christi, sometimes you don't report on you." Well, that's because I've gone through all of these interviews and everything, and I'm grateful for the support of the Republican National Hispanic Assembly of Florida. They have endorsed me, written a very beautiful letter. Thank you very much, Emilio. I appreciate that very much. And this is also where I exposed the government grifters in my town hall last week. Sadly, that ended up being a whole 2 hours showing all of their money alignments and everything. But it's there. So it's the only way that we're going to stop the corruption. I was also endorsed not only by the Republican National Hispanic Assembly, but also the Republican Liberty Caucus, because these Republican groups are finally, realizing like, oh my gosh, Christi is right. Byron Donalds as well. I also have Roger Stone, because they have all reviewed my research and seen what I have done. So the other people that I really get are our Bay scientists, believe it or not. So don't call me a science denier, because the science deniers will tell you that there is absolute corruption going on and that we should not be dredging our Bay until we can make sure that things are taken care of, because we don't really need anything else. We also don't need any larger ships or barges. The C-40 citizens, even the C-40 citizens that only want to wear 3 pieces of clothing per year do not want the Bay dredge. So you guys can see all of this going on. I'm looking for the Francis Suarez piece because you have to see. Oh, did I tell you guys that I actually called out Patrick Bet-David for helping
No.
Francis Suarez? Okay.
Nope.
So Patrick Bet-David tried to do this. So you guys know who Patrick Bet-David is? He's a big podcaster on Valuetainment. He's a big business
Oh
entrepreneur.
yeah, I do.
Well, I
too.
thought it was like he's from Iran. I thought it was like really odd that one of our veterans was actually helping Francis Suarez as a whole. So I started to like go, why is Patrick Bet-David like wasting his reputation on this Ponzi Postalita? Maybe he doesn't know, right?
Right.
So I went to Timcast with Tim Pool and a whole bunch of other people, and basically they allowed me to ask Patrick Bet-David why he helped our Ponzi Postalita with his like worst podcast ever. It's called How Can I Help? Well, first of all, he can help by first of all showing up to City Hall. So it was such a great question that I asked that it made Patrick Bet-David like scoot to the edge of his chair to the point where James O'Keefe was like, oh my gosh, that was brilliant. So and same with Luke, We Are Change. Both of those guys love the fact that I actually ask him questions because, hold on, when you see this clip, hold on, we are going to find it. Okay, first of all, here we're going to get into this. So the reason this also matters, this also goes back to Sabina Kovo, because we all know they're working on another scamdemic already. So we have to be prepared. And chief scamdemicers, Francis Suarez and Alex Diaz de la Portilla, again, same alliance, financial alliances with Sabina Kovo, have already been in alliances together. Hold on, we got to get here. You've got to see this because it's just too good, because he scammed the world. Francis Suarez was utilized to scam the complete world, to the point where he incited that all Latins, oh goodness, I hope I'm going to be able to find it. We're all Latins. Let me just see if I can search my feed really quick. We're all Latins.
That's Facebook for you. When you really need one of your old
Yeah,
posts. Good luck.
Yeah, exactly. So, oh, here it is. Because, hold on, he was on this podcast here. Hold on. Billy. Oh, by the way, Billy's idea that he pointed out this. I mean,
magic mind? No. What is that?
Matcha, adaptogens, nootropics, and immunity.
Yeah, you look like that kind of guy.
Hey, I'm warning you now, dude. I took Magic Mind. Yeah. Your boy sent me Magic Mind.
How about that, Matt?
I took out my coffee.
Bro, did I not tell you?
Yeah, I thought you were foolish.
It's so good.
It's
You
fantastic.
feel good, right? You're alert.
Yep.
You're not wired. You're alert. Should I drink it right now? Yeah, you should.
okay, so that's what Billy was concerned about. What I'm concerned about is Francis Suarez in that same clip. He is going over, and I know I'm going to find it, David. This is important. He basically tells that the Brazilian government is the one who had him take the COVID test, and he turns around and says, "Well, I'm not really sure. Do I really have the test? Like, how sure are you?" And they say, "Oh, we're like 98% sure." And then he turns around and says, No. I need to be 100% sure if I'm going to shut down my city. And they said, "Okay, we're 100% sure." I mean, you can't even make this stuff up. Okay. I mean, it's literally that bad that you cannot even make this stuff up. Oh, I think I've got it right here. It is just unbelievable that they would try to get away with this with the public in general. Okay, so I'm about to release this here, but I wanted to play it for you guys first. Okay, so you ready?
Yep.
Let's hear what Francis said.
Yeah.
He didn't give it to me. Someone on his staff gave it to me. So I get a call and they're like, "Hey, we want you to take a test and we want you to quarantine." So the next day they call me in the morning. He's like, "Yeah, you're positive." And I was like, "Are you sure?" And I swear to you, the guy goes to me, "I'm 98% sure. You need to be 100% sure." He really literally said, "I'm 100% sure."
And then he shut down the city. So Sabina Kovo is friends with Francis Suarez. So is Damian Pardo. So is everybody that I am running against. Either they're connected with Alex Diaz de la Portilla, Francis Suarez, or Joe Carollo. So you have a choice, Miami. Either you go out and you vote for the same players over and over and over again, or you vote for Christi Tasker and we stop the government gangsters all together once and for all. Well, that one doesn't even have the government gangster on the back. What am I saying? That's here's the way we do it right here. We stop the government gangsters.
We
So
need to
they're
hook you up with Gunnar Lindblom.
right.
He's got the gangster clothing line.
Yeah. Yeah, I've got the government gangster I've got the government gangster clothing line because people are like, even with the earrings and everything, David, like people all over Miami are absolutely sick of this. One of the most popular things that I have been giving out, that I literally have people now coming up to me saying, Miss Tasker, can I get some more stickers? Can I get some more stickers? I need more stickers. Is these stop the government gangster stickers. These are everywhere throughout Miami.
I love it.
So, David, I say that because, I can't take any more donations. However, people can give to Citizens First, which is Barbara's organization. That's my campaign manager. She's the one who's
Can I ask why? Is there a cutoff point? Is there a cutoff
Yeah,
point?
there's a cutoff point. Yesterday was the cutoff point. So we can't take any more donations after the cutoff point. And evidently, yeah, it's absolutely crazy. You can only take donations up until a certain point, but they're trying to make it out so, oh, well, people can only give to the campaign there, right? But the reality is all my competitors, they're going to have people given to their PACs.
Right.
So Barbara developed Citizens First organization, so people can go through and give to Citizens First. If you want the information, please go to citizensfirst.us. So she's got that set up. You can help me, help Barbara, and the rest, pay for the rest of the things that we need to bring this on home. Because David, the biggest thing we're going to need is we are going to need those donations now, because we are about to go to runoff, and we're about to go runoff with somebody. It's either going to be Damian Pardo or Sabina Covo. I think it's probably going to be Damian Pardo, believe it or not, because people are so sick of Sabina Covo that when they try to pull the wool over people's eyes with her past 9 months work. But I will say this, everybody, she did warn you. She said in the first town hall, oh, I'm going to take the 9 months and I'm going to get the office together. I'm going to get it together for the voters. Oh, I have an office day. Well, guess what? The office is yours, District 2. And when I'm in the District 2 office, guess what? We're going to have a podcast just like this. When you have an issue, we may just go live and actually just start reporting on it, because we're not going to waste people's
I always
time.
wonder why city commissions and councils members don't do that on a regular basis.
Because they don't want it public, David. They don't want it broadcast to everyone, because you'll cast their lives.
You're pledging.
That's exactly right, David. You know what? The District 2 office is basically going to be turned into a media room, so that the media can come in, they can get their information, we can make sure that their documents are there, the public can go on and they can report anything that they want to. And guess what? The government is going to hate it. I'm just saying, because they can no longer run and hide. I've already talked to all citizens, and whether I agree with you or not, I'm going to give you a voice. It doesn't really matter. You can get the voice out to the public, and then we can determine together if the public, if the majority wants what you're wanting. Okay, I may not want what you're wanting, but guess what? If the majority of the public wants what you're wanting, guess what? I'm going to vote the way you guys want me to, not the way developers want me to, or Alex Diaz de la Portilla or Joe Carollo. I'm going to vote the way the citizens want me to vote. Because
and when is this vote taking place? Tell everyone.
It's actually taking place today. You can vote today at City Hall, Government Center. Oh yeah, David, we got 9 days of voting here. Forget the one vote, one day.
This is like the 12 days of Christmas. Okay.
Yeah, it's like that's exactly
9 days
right.
of Christi Tasker.
Yeah.
There we go.
And not only that, but we actually keep in mind, the police and fire unions have endorsed Sabina Covo, but they also endorsed Alex Diaz de la Portilla. And those fire and police unions are out at the senior centers, conveniently taking seniors to vote.
Of course they are.
We're going to see you on Tuesday. In the meantime, go to Christi4Miami.com. Can't take personal donations. Vote. What's the name of the citizens?
Citizensfirst.us. Citizensfirst.us.
And get out there and vote for Christi. She is up to the task. Christi Tasker, we'll see you on Tuesday.
Thank you very much, David. Thanks, Fitty.
God bless
you.
Bye-bye.
Christi.
God bless.
And that is what we're going to call that segment from now on. Up to the task with Christi Tasker. I love it. Okay, and also up to the task when it comes to love and relationships and men being men and women being women is our next guest, Dr. Reeves-Tasker, Love Doctor. Welcome to you. How are you?
Hello, I'm great. How are you guys?
Good, 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 good.
Oh, really good. You look stunningly beautiful today.
Always,
Oh,
always.
sweet. Thank you. You do too, guys.
Well, we try, we try. So, what do we want to talk about today in relationships? There's so much. You can go just about any place you want to, but where do we want to go?
I feel that the biggest problem is that people in relationship compete with each other instead of trying to complete each other.
Ah, I love that. That's true.
Yes. So if you try to compete with your partner, you're never going to achieve anything. You guys have to complete each other and grow together and not try to win, because if you win, they lose. If they lose, you win, but nobody is a winner. So it's all
Yeah.
about, so we got to focus on completing each other, not competing.
Can you give us some examples of what couples do when they compete against each other? In other words, what do you mean by that? Give an example of what a man and a woman do to compete against each other.
Yeah, I feel like it's worse when it comes from a woman because it demasculates the man, especially when he tries to help with certain tasks and she's like, forget it, I can do it myself. That's the worst thing you can do to a man, because now he feels he's no good, he's no needed, and that's what a man needs in order to fall in love. They need to feel needed. So even if you know how to change the light bulb or carry your own grocery bags, that's not the point. The point is to hand that task to your man so he feels needed.
That's kind of interesting. I know of one couple, and they'll remain nameless. They're friends of ours, where the biggest complaint that the husband has, and he loves his wife tremendously, but that he has, is that she almost makes him feel sometimes like he's a child. Like when she goes out and she's going to be gone for a period of time, maybe it's out of town for a day or something like that, she will say, now, here's where I put the food. It's in the refrigerator. It's on the second shelf, or, remember you need to do that. And it's like he feels like, oh my God, I can handle this. I lived on my own for 15 years before I met you, and I was quite good at being single, but I'm happy that we're married now. But it's not all of a sudden he's made, and guys do that to women too sometimes, like, honey, you need to do, it is demeaning on both sides, I think.
Yes, it's almost emasculating or making that they're not good enough. So it's always speaking from confidence. Honey, I know you're going to do great. Here is the list, but I trust you. And just let it, and if they come home and there's a little mess, call the housekeeper. No big deal. It's just, don't sweat the small stuff.
That's absolutely true. And you know what? Speaking of Don't Sweat the Small Stuff, that is a great series of books.
Yes.
And I have them. And of course, the biggest thing that I got out of reading those books is your inbox will never be empty. So you're never going to get it all done. You're never going to be able to sit down and go, and said, so you shouldn't act like it all needs to be done and completed, because as soon as something ends, the ceiling's going to crack or something's going to need. There's always maintenance, and maintenance not only in a home, but maintenance in a relationship. You have to constantly be repainting and reinvigorating the relationship. Always, you can't sit back and say, well, I'm good, I'm married now, I can sit in my underwear and my socks drinking a beer and watch television, if you're a guy. Or if you're a woman, saying, you know what, I don't need to look good today because I'm married. You both should always be at the top of your game for one another, I believe.
Yes, it's true. I met a neighbor of mine, and he's been married for 50 years, but he works with his wife for 50 years. I said, how long have you been married? And he's like, 100 years, because we worked together. He said, I've had many relationships within that relationship because I never know how she's going to wake up. She has so many personalities and I love them all. So.
His name isn't Sybil, is it? Or
right?
But cute. It's like, I'm married for 100 years and she is like so adventurous and always something new is coming up. And I love my wife. She's different every day.
Well, that's exciting. Now that is fantastic. See, there's always something different, and you can. It's nice to surprise your significant other in a relationship too. It's something they did not. I mean, on a good, not negative, but on a good thing that they didn't see coming. Just something that they didn't expect you to do.
Yes.
Like, for example, just to give you, I work out of my house here. I do this show out of here, and my wife has a physical office that she goes to. And when she comes home, many days I cook the dinner, but not only do I cook it, when she walks in the door, and I'm not saying this to pat myself on the back, I'm just saying because it totally blows her mind. I've got the table set. I've got her glass of wine poured. I don't drink. She drinks like wine. I've got everything there, and I serve her that first helping, because I know that she's carrying bags and briefcases and everything. Well, I'm working out of the house. When I'm done with my show, I'm done. So that's something that's not expected. And I love doing it. I love my wife. So I love doing that for her. Everybody needs to put that little bit of extra effort in, I think.
Yeah, it's beautiful. You make her life easier and she feels love and care. Then she's looking forward to come home because she's not coming home to nagging. She's coming
Oh, yeah.
with a and it doesn't get any better.
Yeah, there's no nagging in this house. We both get along quite well. But I know that a lot of times, in a lot of relationships, man, it's either the husband complaining about something or the wife. And it's just, Penny, would you like to weigh in on some of this stuff? Penny's sitting there.
I just wanted to say, you were talking about change, and this joke came to my mind. How many psychologists does it take to change a light bulb?
They have to want to change themselves, isn't it?
Yes. It only takes one, but it must really want to change.
Yeah, that's true.
That's a cycle, because I was married to a psychologist.
Oh,
and
wow.
both of his parents were psychologists.
But he was also a psychopath, wasn't
he? He was indeed. he on the surface, though, he was a very nice person, but he was living a double life. As most of the people that were in my life, they lived double life. So while, I came from, my heart was on the table. I'm an empath. I tell the truth. They were not. They were duplicitous.
Yeah.
And they led double lives. And I actually believe that my husband was gay.
Yeah.
And so, I didn't realize any of that until actually after he died, when I contacted him and found out that he knew my former agents for many years and knew that he was my brother. And then he died of a heart attack 3 weeks later. And then I started investigating, more of him and his family and the MK Ultra ties. And, I'm sure, Dr. Elena, I'm not the first person to come to you with this conundrum of.
Funny, I was actually going to write a TV series called Beverly Hills Closet because there are so many men, especially in the Middle Eastern culture and the Jewish community, that are not allowed to be gays, and they are married and they have children and then they have partners and the wives don't know, and it's happening. Yeah. And it's very challenging, obviously, for the wife because they cannot say it in their culture, so they hide it in the closet. But
yes, and maybe the wives don't even know, and it's masked and hidden by the fact that they're working. So in my instance, because I also worked with my husband, he was my the guitar player in my band, which was named Stranger. Sorry, that was a different band. I've been in a lot of different bands for over 50 years. So our band was called Stranger because that was his name.
And
The Zenos name
things too. Isn't that amazing?
Right. Isn't it?
Yeah.
and I was literally Mrs. Stranger because the Zenos name means xenophobia is fear of strangers. So in our society, and I'm 65. So when I met the individuals that I met, we didn't actually have the internet. We didn't have a capability of going online and searching out to find out, is there any kind of criminal background, about your former or your present partner, right? Somebody that you're going to engage in. Now you can actually do that. You can actually search out, find out some things, but there are other things you may never find out.
Yeah.
You may never find out that that person that you trust explicitly, and he says, I'm at work, I'm, having a conference with my parents every Thursday, and not only can you not call, but you can't come over because we're discussing confidential information. Yeah, I see that look on your face. and then in retrospect, like one time we had this gig, it was in Santa Ana, and it was for a gay all gay club, all guys. And so I'm like, how did you find this gig, right? So I don't think about it until 30 years later, of course, when I'm putting together everything, and I'm like, I know how he found the gig now.
Oh yeah.
Right? Because that's where he went for his lunch hour, because it was right down the street from the office.
Yeah.
So we don't necessarily, as women, and also I want to ask you this, as from a child, as a child, I was dismissed. I saw things, had visions, etc. But they were like, "Oh, you're just being dramatic," right? And I think that our culture teaches men and women. There's a song I sang. It's called "Queen of Denial." I think that they teach us to deny, and that's a very harmful thing, because then you're in an abusive relationship because you were abused as a child, but you actually refuted and denied portions of that abuse because it didn't look like it was really abuse, right? Everyone was doing it, beating their children or whatever. You didn't recognize it. Then you go on to another relationship, which is toxic as well, and that abuse happens, but you deny it. You're taught to deny everything. What do you think about that?
So I feel like many times in a relationship, it's not that we didn't see the red flags coming. It's not that we didn't have the gut feeling that the person is not right for us. It's how long are you willing to deny the truth and the situation and see it for what it is. And that's the biggest problem. Let me close the window 1 second. Sorry, it's noisy here. So that's the biggest problem that we often face in relationships. It's that people deny what's happening and they just stay and stay and stay, and then one day want to blame the partner for it. But how long have you seen the red flag? You saw it probably from day one or pretty soon after you were together. We just deny a lot of things, and we create print of how our partner should be with us and what we want from them, but it's not necessarily always the blueprint that is really happening as a reality. So sometimes you need to delete that blueprint, how you put the partner on a pedestal, and see it for what it is, because that's
true.
in relationships.
So you also have a practice in which you have some very high profile and just regular old citizens like myself that come to you for consultation. And I wanted to ask you, is it indicative if the woman comes in for counseling, but the man never will? What would you say about that?
It's very, very common, but also sometimes when the woman does lots of changes, it will help her to have healthy boundaries. So if the person in a relationship is not willing to work on themselves or is toxic, and they're not willing to make any corrections and stay selfish and narcissistic, it will give her courage to leave. Because in a relationship, you should work together. Obviously, women are way more open to changes, and we also know we are way more emotional than men. So, we're willing to do more work, but it is important that your partner eventually shows up. Otherwise, you're just dancing alone.
Now, there's also a component about Christianity.
Yes.
So people stay in relationships because they made that vow and they believe this is a lifetime vow and I should stay, even though it's not beneficial to them, or they may not see some of the telltale signs, like maybe they're not getting verbally abused, or maybe they're not getting, beaten, but there are other underlying things of abandonment within that relationship. What would you suggest in that? How do you help somebody see that relationship is demonstrably bad for them.
Love themselves and figuring out what is really important for them and what's absolute deal breaker. And if the deal breaker shows up every single day and they feel insecure, anxious, and unhappy and unloved, lonely in a relationship constantly, then that could be a red flag that that's not the right partner for them. It doesn't mean that it can be the love of their life, but you have to be compatible. Being compatible and sharing same value, a core is super important. And when you don't have that, you're gonna suffer. So
What if the entire premise of the marriage was false, and you're thinking, hey, this person has the same values as me, this person is Christian or whatever, and then you find out when you were in that relationship that it's a covert relationship, they're not what they said they were.
yeah, if the person, let's say it's a man, if the man is not a provider, because the Bible said the man that doesn't provide for his family is worse than an unbeliever. So if you would,
Good. Nice to know that one. I wish I had that one in my pocket. But
You know what? Penny's writing that down because she's currently in the market for a good relationship. Okay, must provide or
family is worse than an unbeliever. So just because you're Christian and use Jesus as an excuse for your procrastination doesn't mean you're real Christian, because it says it clearly in the Bible. A man that does not provide for his family is worse than an unbeliever. It is better for you to be with a provider unbeliever than a Christian man that claims to be Christian and does not provide for his family. That has nothing to do with Christianity.
well, that's why even Jesus said, and we're not going to turn this into a religious discussion, but he said at one point, even if you do not believe in me, believe in the work that I do, meaning that it's important that you believe in doing the right thing. And the right thing in terms of relationship and a marriage is for the husband to provide for the wife.
And also it says, love your wives as I have loved the church.
Yes.
The partner does not show you that unconditional love and he's not a provider. He can say he's Christian, but he's not. He's just using the word Christianity for his procrastination and bad behavior. That has nothing to do with Christianity. So it's going back to the world. It also said that wife that is, nagging and complaining is also not good for the husband. Don't drive your husband crazy. I don't know exactly all the
right.
So it goes both ways. So saying you Christian and being Christian is two different things. There are people that don't know the Bible as well, but they follow the principle of the Bible,
Yes.
the way they act. So
Yes.
I understand that if you're Christian, it's important to be with someone Christian, but I have seen many Christian that claim they're Christian, but they don't.
Not.
They are broke, they don't have money, and they believe that money is bad and it's a curse. But the Bible said that God will give you all the desires of your heart and he will bless you. The only thing he says, don't worship money more than me, but he wants to bless you. So again, it's knowing the Bible and having the knowledge of the Bible if you're Christian and understand. And that's why maybe it's important that you have someone who is couples counsel, but also understand your religion or your point of view, because then they can break it down for you. Because I have a lot of couples that are different religions, and I understand what is Judaism. I understand what is to be Muslim, the principle. So what is the principle of Christianity? And it's important because then you can really advise them by what they follow, and then it makes sense because it is written.
Yes. David?
Remember the television series Bridget Loves Bernie?
I do.
In the 70s, about a Catholic girl who married a Jewish guy, and the whole sitcom based around that. It was kind of interesting, but you're absolutely right. You can have people of different religions; they can come together, and I guess the biggest problem with that is if you have children, you have to make a mutual decision as to which faith the child will be raised in. What I would suggest, if you have a situation like that, is that the couple expose the children to both of their faiths, and then eventually let the child make the decision as to where they want to send their beliefs.
Yeah, that's the only way, because otherwise you enforcing something on your child will be totally confused. So yeah, it's important that you let them be free and decide what they want, just like a child wants to decide a college. Obviously, I understand that if you're Christian, it is important for your child to grow up in that, you know, environment. That's maybe important, or if you're Jewish. But if you a mixed couple, you definitely have to let your child be free and not force something on them, because then they're going to resent it and be totally confused.
How
Is
many
this
of the
something that you would say that they should discuss way before they
yes,
engage
hopefully you're right.
Yeah.
That's what you should do.
We always discuss time, space, money, play, religion, how you want to raise your children. I think that if couples were just open, just like setting up a business, to set up certain principles of the relationship and core values, they would not face all these challenges later, because chemistry is not enough, you know?
So would you suggest that people that are thinking about getting married have premarital counseling?
Definitely, because they can even negotiate the prenup or whatever they want. So then later in life, if they have a split, everything is set on stone. There is no fighting, there is no animosity, everything is done. They can have easy breakup if things don't work out. Yeah, maybe feelings are hurt, but you know, the transition for them and for their children can be so much easier.
That's an interesting question, though, Doctor, because some people would argue, I'm not one of them. I don't think it's what you're saying is a bad idea, but there are those who would argue that setting up a prenup is almost a setup for disaster, because it's almost like saying, well, in case it doesn't work out.
Right. I agree with that as well, because when but that's just for me.
But
If I'm in, I'm all in.
I understand, but if you were married before and your partner was married,
Yes, I guess
Yeah.
if it's your second, yes, I guess.
They might, again, we're talking about ulterior motives. Maybe the person is simply marrying you for money, like in response to Rupert Murdoch, when his girlfriend, his last fiance, left him. I was joking and saying, well, maybe she found out he passed his physical and he was going to live past 6 months. But it was actually part of it was that she said she thought Tucker Carlson was sent by God, and Rupert Murdoch was running. He had to fire Tucker. He fired Tucker, and he broke up his relationship, Dr. Elena, with this woman.
yeah. But sometimes, like, oftentimes when you're in a relationship, when one partner comes with a lot and they maybe have a children and they want to leave some trust for the children, or you both have children
Yeah.
and now you're older. And if your partner pass out, then the children are going to fight with you and all that. So it is better to set this. Hey, this is the trust. This is going for the kids. This is going to you. This is mine. This is yours. Because, as a parent, you have a responsibility to help your children and give them some grounding and, something to start their life, especially if you're a father. So I feel like it's responsible, because what if you marry for a year or two, it doesn't work out, and then all the hard work you have done is gone from your children because you marry a gold digger? That's not fair.
Exactly.
Yeah, I just found out something the other day that I never knew. As a matter of fact, we know that if that a man who has a relationship with a woman where he's rich and she's younger, what do they call him? What do they call him?
Sugar daddy.
Sugar daddy. What do you call a man who goes from rich woman to rich woman?
He's looking for sugar mama.
No, a hobosexual. Because you're going from women to. Dr. Elena, where can people find you?
They can find me on UStashInstitute.com. That's my institute in Beverly Hills. They can also find me as Dr. Elena Eustache on Instagram and TikTok, YouTube, and they can call at 424-362-9652.
And they can always find you here on the Awake Nation, and we're just honored that you join us on a regular basis and provide us with this very valuable information. Relationships and love are so important. Dr. Elena Eustache, thank you for being with us again today. We appreciate it. Look forward to the next time.
Thank you. Bye.
Thank you.
Dr. Elena Eustache here on the
Beautiful.
She is beautiful inside and out, and she really
Yeah.
cares about people. I mean, you can tell, and she's just got this gentle wonderful way of saying what she has to say and
I
making
love
you feel important. She's fantastic. Okay, before we close out today, mistaken beliefs you had as a child. Did you ever like believe something as at a certain age, and then later on in life you found out you were wrong? It could be
Yes.
something. Okay. Here are some. Reddit asked, what were some younger you? What was a younger you, a younger version of you, hilariously wrong about? Some of the responses. I was at least 10 years old when I learned it was Valentine's Day and not Valentine's Day. All right. One said I was into my mid-30s before I knew string cheese could be pulled apart. There was a very short period where I was 100% certain everybody but me could see their own faces, and I was very upset by this. I thought the opening words to the Star Spangled Banner were, "Oh, Satan, you see."
Oh God.
I think that's true in some cases.
Right.
I thought a grilled cheese sandwich was called girl cheese sandwich. I thought they were only for girls, and I'd complain when my brother got one. I was 5 and I saw a few black and white television shows on late night TV. I was convinced for about 3 years when these shows were produced in the early 50s, the world just didn't have color.
Oh wow.
Around middle school, I didn't know how the whole prank of toilet papering one's house was done or how to start it. I thought it was so cool and hilarious to me. So one day after school, I ran home excited and started TPing my own house. My mom screamed at me. Another one said, I always thought the handicap symbol of someone in a wheelchair was someone on the toilet.
Oh God.
I pointed at the sign and sincerely asked my mom, why can you pee there? I used to think actors die for real on TV and that I can stop them from dying if I switch the channel.
Oh God.
Let's see what else. For a while, I thought that all music was performed live. I would carefully rotate albums to give the singers a break. On products, it says serve chilled. I thought it was serve child.
Oh wow.
There are some who still believe that, folks.
That's
Believe me.
true.
All right. So those are just some of the crazy things that. Did you have anything that you thought was one thing, and then when you got older, you learned otherwise, or?
Yeah, my whole life, but you know, I believed in I believed in Santa Claus.
Yes, I don't know how to tell folks this, but I still do. I believe Santa Claus is a spirit of giving, and I still put out cookies and milk on Christmas Eve. We still do that. My wife and my wife and my daughter and her husband usually stay overnight at our house Christmas Eve, so we can all wake up Christmas morning together. And I put out cookies and milk and little carrots for the reindeer. And then, even though I eat them before we go to bed, I leave a little note that says thanks for the cookies and milk. And I have this other little thing that I do on Christmas Eve, but I'm not going to tell you about that until we get closer to Christmas, because it's a great Christmas story. Anyway, now you're awake, and that's going to do it for this edition of the Awake Nation and this week of the Awake Nation. Please tune in by 6 p.m. Eastern time tonight for the Awake Nation News, that you can watch on YouTube at our The Awake Nation News channel. And that'll also be available to watch at our news site, theawakenation.com. The show, The Awake Nation, will be back Monday morning at 8 a.m. Central, 9 a.m. Eastern. In the meantime, have a great weekend, everybody. We're out of time, so we're out of here. Zublik out.
Shepherd out.
Goodbye for today from the Awake Nation with co-host David Zublik and Penny L.A. Shepherd. You can catch us live on Rumble, X, and at awakenation.tv. Monday through Friday, 8 a.m. to 11 a.m. Central, 9 a.m. to 12 noon Eastern. Join us for the Awake Nation News for a quick shot of espresso for 30 minutes of breaking news, 8 a.m. to 8:30 a.m. Central, 9 a.m. to 9:30 a.m. Eastern. The Awake Nation, the truth with a shot of espresso.
On behalf
back of the Awake Nation with co-host David Zubik and Penny L.A. Shepherd. We humbly thank our Dark Outpost and Awake Nation family. We thank you for watching the Awake Nation and ask you to join us each and every weekday, Monday through Friday. Ship doo 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 doo, yeah. Ship doo 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 doo. Ship doo 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 doo, yeah.